Sanibona nonke. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hey, namhlanje ngize kanje ne kunzima ya namhlanje siyahlonipha kakhulu. So Tabile comes in all forms. Tabile comes in all forms. So don't expect mawuhlangana no Tabile uzombona say the same way all the time. But in different measures for different challenges. So yeah, today I wanna explain more about a Sangoma, a prophet, a medium, and a shaman, and that a person can have multiple callings, or a person can have multiple gifts. But before I talk deeply about that, I want to say our purpose stays the same. But our calling may shift from season to season, or may shift from phase to phase, right? Calling progresses, and calling develops as you grow into it, as you obey certain things, or live by it, or embrace it. It grows, right? So people, I want to say this, and in a very polite and humbling manner. As Siganje, we didn't choose. A person's path is chosen before birth, and cannot be altered by anyone. You cannot do to as umuntu because it does not suit you. Do you understand? Our paths are all chosen. Yes, you can deny your calling as much as you want, and you can deny it, but definitely it will awaken. It will catch up with you at some point in your life, and it will reveal yona ukuthi mina ngubani. So you cannot alter someone's birth land. You cannot alter someone's calling, if I should say that. As nisbona, it's not that we are like Sibot. We're not bought, and we definitely did not choose this path for ourselves. So just because we are just because abantu bazothini. That is why in most cases you will find abantu abane calling have no friends, because then you want to shape it into what is acceptable to the physical world, and which does not work like that. Anyways, I will touch on that. I will touch on calling and purpose as we go along, but our calling is different. The purpose, yes, it's to obey God and worship Him, and all work or live in His divine by His divine purpose for us. But calling is the instruments that were installed in you, the instruments that you use, to understand, to serve that purpose, and that's a calling. So Sangoma, I wanna touch on Sangoma. Sangoma is trained differently. It doesn't mean wonke umuntu or on a calling, or who's a healer, has to be initiated to some sort of, or has to trasa. Do you understand? The different, the same umbrella, but in a different levels and in different forms. A Sangoma is initiated by ugobela, where umuntu uyahamba yotwasa, where you will get ama mentors afana no gobela that will explain things to you, that will teach you things, that will train you, obey certain rituals, and then bese ukuba nama stages where manje uzodla ilento. I'm not very clued up about the process of Sangoma, so please bear with me, but kunama processes where uzintwaso. Do you understand? Kwenziwa lokhu manje uyabhula manje. You are trained by a physical being, which is ugobega. However, you still have your guardians, which are izinto, and you are given tools also sebenzisa. So your guardians, we are umuntu oyisangoma uyaboniswa, right? Just as a prophet aboniswa, just as a medium aboniswa, and a shaman aboniswa. Sangoma, then you are given nama tools, wobungoma, which is isikhwama sakho, and then kuyahlatshwa kwenziwa lento, kwenziwa yonke into edingekayo ebungomeni. That's how isangoma works, and that's how a sangoma is initiated into being a sangoma. And then you get a prophet. Now a prophet, which is now it comes to it isithunywa, where umuntu uzalwa enesithunywa. Isithunywa umuntu, or it's a spirit esingazange siphile, azange sizalwe. So isithunywa spirit or an angel engazange ize in this earth, engazange yehliswe down to this earth, izalwe. That is why ibizwa ngesithunywa. Umuntu ke onesithunywa does not necessarily need ukuyothwasa or be initiated in some form. Umuntu onesithunywa is trained by isithunywa sakhe and the spirits. He's mentored by spirits or guardians, which is isithunywa that ezimsupportayo. Umuntu oyi-prophet usebenza in a different form, where ubona ngendlela, like sibona ngokufana, right? But as a prophet, there's certain limits, certain rules. Just as a bungoma, where you are trained, gunama rules, gunama regulations, gunama processes, gunama protocols, if I should say that. Nisithunywa kunezinto zakhona ekufanele ukuthi ungazenzi, kunezinto esizidlayo nesingazidli. And then you get a medium. A medium now, umuntu who works with spirits, same as a prophet. So you might get a medium or fige asebenzise mediumship enobungoma. We are all mediums, by the way. We are all mediums. We all communicate between two worlds. Do you understand? We all a bridge between two worlds. However, a medium nayo ayithwasiswa. You are not initiated into mediumship. It's a gift from birth, whether being psychic at first and then progressing into a medium, which is now umuntu who can communicate with spirits. A medium sees abantu bagini or umuntu ongasekho in ngeform abayiyo, ngeform abahambe ngayo. And a medium now is able to feel whether lo muntu lona, even in the spiritual, usagula, userighty. Do you understand? So we are able to describe your loved ones in ngendlela ayiyo omazi ngayo, because at some point we need to validate from you. We need to get a validation from you that lo muntu esikhuluma ngayo umuntu wuye. And then you get a shaman, which is now something very new to me, but it's very interesting. And I'm just so fortunate that I got my all my gifts are coming together, and then this shift to shamanism, which is very great. Now, a shaman is someone. It's basically relationship based. To understand, between the invisible realms and the ordinary reality. So you work in both the seen and the unseen world. And within that space, you are able to change certain things or negotiate a change in the spiritual world for the ordinary reality. So you are able to negotiate with the relevant spirits to make certain changes in the ordinary world, which is our ordinary reality now. So yes, we work in both seen and unseen world, and are able to communicate in both worlds and travel. So shamanism also, you do a lot of astral traveling. Astral traveling is out of body experience, where you're able to your spirit is able to move away from your body and travel into the universe and travel into a certain space where you can see certain things. So with shamanism, what's nice about it is that you even see the teensy-weensy things that people don't see in a naked eye. You see umuntu indlela yiyo. Even it doesn't have to be one-on-one, right? It doesn't have to be a private reading. Wherever you are, whether in your phone, whether, as long as I'm connected with your voice, with initially you get readings from that. So that shamanism works mostly with a clean soul. You get that calling if you have a clean soul. It has the responsibilities. It has certain sacrifices that you have to do. There's yonke into in a calling, in a rituals wakhona, in a responsibilities wakhona, right? So excuse me, in a rituals wakhona, in a responsibilities wakhona, in a protocols wakhona, in a regulations wakhona. So akusi into evela uthi hayi I woke up today and I'm a shaman. Doesn't work like that. Yonke into ubizo, yonke into ubizo lwakho, you graduate, basically. Let's say that you graduate from this point to this point, this point to this point, this point to this point. There's you get a directive. As ubungoma, you get a directive from ukobela, and then go prophet, you get a directive from Itunya. Go medium, you get a directive from the spirits, and then go. Now go mediumship. I wanna explain this. Go mediumship. There's two things. Uthabile as a medium, unobungoma, unobu prophet, but eyiwane yiyo efika iphakame bese kuphakanyiswa yona kusebenza yona. So ku initiation yakho na ku training yakho uzothola mostly le if you are called to be a medium who uses prophetic ways, uzo base more guyebo prophet. However, you do have this other calling, which is ubungom. You do have this other calling, which is shamanism. So Utabile has bits and pieces of all these callings in one pot. It's possible. And now then people will ask, then how do you know Sangoma? I did ngithwasile emanzini, so ngepoop. So don't get me wrong, this thing is not limited or reduced to lewe isicabanga ngakhona. We as black Africans or black people are not only limited to ubungoma nobu prophet and then ezinye azikho cha ayikho le nto leyo. See, we are called in different ways, we are given in different ways. And it's for us to embrace that and start learning different things of our colleagues, because abantu bayabaleka now because umuntu ucabanga ukuthi calling ubungoma or ufanele ngesonto ngakhona. Both these things, I mean to be honest, being a medium is boring as being a prophet, because very strict. There's certain things that I can't do, there's certain things. However, we do try and speak to our guardians and speak to abantu abasphethe and our guides, if I should say that, the forces that guides us. We speak to them and try to come to a compromise. Listen, I am young, I still have to live, I still have to learn, I still have dreams. And then you are allowed certain things. Okay. It's very complicated, because when it comes to now relationship management, relationship management, until you reach a certain space in your life, it's also bit tricky. However, I want to say this, guys. Mawune calling, no mungabalega. You are called for it. It was chosen, it was written. Ungayibalekela wena, kodwa izokuthola somewhere somehow. Might not be you, because when usuhambile emhlabeni, but you will still want to come back, because it has to manifest somewhere else. You will still want to come back, fix it, because we are standing with problems where abantu now they want to relieve into ebabeyiphiwe yona, babuye bazoyenza. Now the time is too late, imkhatha isafani. So umuntu wenzani now? We pass her on to abantwana. Do you understand? So yeah, into mawuyibizelwe, you will always have to bow to that. At some point in your life, you will have to come and bow. I mean, Utabile was working and then it took certain things, it took certain changes, some even painful, to awaken the person that, or who I am and my calling and what I'm called for. It took, I know a lot of people who are psychologists, nurses, actors, whoever, but as soon as this thing calls you to into fane kube yiyo ukuthi ukuphi in space or in your life. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you are a healer, and then you have to come back to whom you were born to be, if I should say that. So yeah, a calling is not a nightmare, guys. A calling is not something A and B. It's not in darkness. To understand, it's how you practice it that becomes darkness. Because ubizelwe okuthize, then when ufuna ukuchoose okuthize, and then now it clashes with who you are. Bese ke uzithola uwenza izinto ekungafanelanga uzenze. We understand. We are called to heal, basically, whether called as a medium, as a Sangoma, as a prophet, as a shaman. Basically, we are called to heal. However, in a shaman, you get to work with energy vibrations. As much as Nama Sangoma, Nama mediums, Nama prophet, we work with that. You work with energy vibrations, you work with tools. So we are all given tools, right? You work with crystal stones, some work with sand, some work with fire, some work with. We work in different forms. However, the tools are more or less similar for some of us. Some work with this crystal glass, and to understand. However, the tools are more or less similar. It's just there and there. A calling branches, guys. You have to understand. A calling is like this. It doesn't go like, yeah. As you progress, as you embrace, as you acknowledge who you are, as you grow into it, as you learn from it, as you train, you progress, and it becomes like this. Because yeah, cool. It's like a tree. So what I want to say to you guys is that as much as we can try and we can try and say, okay, let's negotiate nabantu, because you don't want to be boring as umuntu. But there are ways that you communicate with them to say, listen, mina ngiphile emkhathini nina ningaphili kuwo. Let's have understanding. Understand, today I do want to do this. Today I also want to have a relationship. We do communicate with these people because bona, they live in their own world. When they want to, unless it's an emergency and they want you to relay a message to someone, whether picnic, they don't really care. So what we do is now try and negotiate with them. So, and then there's this thing that I've been hearing about abantu bezangoma ukufemba. Guys, shamanism also works along those lines, because ukufemba, it's also astral traveling, where you heal someone who's got bad spirits into land. So I might not be trained by ukobela, you understand, ukufemba, but I might have, within my gifts or within my calling, I might have idlozi lendawo that trains me, that ukufemba for me, it's natural. You understand? I might not. So I hear people saying, no, you need to be trained for that, and you need, it's a special gift that you need. Guys, some people do ukufemba naturally. It's given to you. So it's manifested to you. It's okay. Yenza kanje. You get guidelines, regardless whether you've trained on it or not, because we do it naturally. I do astral traveling naturally. I do that ukufemba naturally, if I should say that. Although I don't do it to the core like Sangoma, where you get assistance and all of this, but we do it naturally. So yeah, that's what I wanted to explain to you guys. So don't be ashamed of who you are just because izwe. That is why it is very limited, hey? Because akufanelanga uzicompromise into yiyo. You will not grow, you will not go far. However, I want to say to you, abantu abane calling, guys, it's not a bad thing. It's not good to ngoba naku uyi-nurse, uyi-lawyer, you don't want that calling. Even with that as well, even with being a nurse, being a lawyer, that's a calling, because you are healing something. As long as you deal nomuntu, you are healing. As long as you deal nesilwane, you are healing something. So I hope this video is beneficial to you, and you will subscribe to my channel. You will subscribe to my channel, and I hope you are learning with Tabi, and as much as you're learning, you're also healing. you also receive the power of healing with Utabi. Thank you so much, and I hope you do enjoy your day. Sharp.